Hello again. Next thing to cover is the interface. We just need to cover what I call the big three of the Unity interface: project window, hierarchy window, and inspector window. And we'll also briefly touch on the scene view and the game view. First and foremost, we'll start with the project window. The project window hosts all the assets that we are going to create or will use throughout this course, from programmable scripts to levels, which are called scenes. Speaking of which, if you haven't already, go to the incomplete folder and double click on the incomplete module scene. The next window is the hierarchy window. Side note, if you can't find any of these windows for whatever reason, you can just go to the Windows tab and select which window you need to see. The hierarchy window is a quick reference to what objects are currently in the level/scene. We can move objects up and down the hierarchy, make them children of objects, and many, many more. Selecting any one of these objects gives us options to move, rotate, and scale them if we so choose. But for the most part, we'll be selecting objects to get access to the inspector window and their components and properties. Speaking of which, this is the window that holds all of the object properties from materials to scripts, and of course, colliders. We can turn objects on or off by toggling the checkmark next to its name. We can also turn off components if we wanted to, also by toggling the checkmark. We can edit the object's position, rotation, and scale in the transform components. These also have shortcuts, so we wouldn't have to bother with the component if you so choose. With the W key for positions, the E key for rotation, and the R key for scale. When you have an axis selected, you could hold down the Control key or the Command key if you're on a Mac to snap the transform increments if you so choose. Moving on to components in the inspector window, we can add new and remove components by clicking Add Component at the very bottom of the inspector. In this case, we're going to go to Physics 2D, Circle Collider 2D. And now the ground has two colliders. But of course, we don't want this. We could get rid of the Circle Collider by either undoing it with Control-Z, or Command-Z if you're on a Mac, or by right-clicking the component and choosing Remove Component. Lastly, we have to touch on the two minor windows. First, the scene window, which is basically the level/scene through the editor's eye. And the game window, which is the lens of the main camera, and what the game would look like if it was built on a platform. We can still edit objects within the game window, though with not as many options as we would have in the scene window. With all this out of the way, we can now cover colliders, which will be in the next video.